Nitrogen in this particular case is 0 there, 0 there because they're free elements. They don't have oxidation numbers. And over here, nitrogen's a -3 and hydrogen's a +1. This is actually -3 and that's +1. The negative is actually first in this case. It's an exception. Okay.
I always thought that was weird. And I know hydrogen's oxidation number was
It is, and it's an exception in this particular case. The reason we don't have hydrogen first, even though hydrogen is a +1 here, is because it's not an acid. And when we put hydrogen first, it's an acid, and it's not an acid in this case, which is why H is not written first. Tomas, hush, I'm talking. Tomas.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So when you look at this, some of you probably changed number 1 to liters. Does number 1 have to be done in liters?
no.
No, do it in milliliters, okay? So you have 17.5 milliliters of what? Of ammonia, okay? So milliliters of ammonia. Remember, it's a volume-volume ratio. So you don't have to put it in liters. So volume is milliliters. Go to milliliters. All right, what did that ask you to find? Milliliters of what?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen. So hydrogen goes on the top line. So put hydrogen there. So when you look at milliliters to milliliters, what are our numbers? All right, what's in front of hydrogen? 3. So we put a 3 there. What's in front of ammonia?
2.
So we put a 2 there. So multiply those two numbers and divide by 2, and what do you get? 26.7 milliliters of hydrogen. Now, if you changed it, yours would have been 0.267 liters of hydrogen. Both answers are correct as long as in the question, I didn't say what volume in milliliters. If I just say what volume, I'll grade it in either unit. 26.25. You just making up numbers?
Yeah.
No, I got that. I got that too. Yeah, I got that too.
I didn't. No, he's talking about my 26.7.
Oh, I got
26.25.
Yeah, that's what.
That's her point. She's just making up
I
numbers.
made up a number and nobody corrected me. So
Oh,
I was like, well, I'm going to tell you the correct answer.
What is wrong with y'all?
All right. Questions?
Nope.
Y'all are.
All right. Number 2. All right. Potassium chlorate decomposes. So if potassium chlorate decomposes, what's potassium chlorate?
The N.
Now remember, you don't get an oxidation sheet. Everybody knows that, right? So nobody pulls out their oxidation sheet. You don't get one on test day. So everybody figured out, I hope, because several people in third period were stunned when I said that yesterday or the day before. Okay? So in case you're like some of the people in third period, we're like, dang, yes, you want me to know this. Potassium's where on the periodic table?
It's in the first group.
It's in the first group. So you know the oxidation number is +1. Some of you probably remember potassium chlorate and what it decomposes into. Some of you don't know that there's a list of polyatomic ions. Here's your equations. If you flip the chart over, there's a whole list of polyatomic ions right there. Y'all did find those, right? Okay.
Yeah, what?
Because there's some of you who are looking at me with a blank face like, what's she talking about?
You know that.
If you look on your blue chart where all your types of reactions are, if you flip it over to the next page, there's a list of polyatomic ions. For the remainder of the semester, I will limit myself to these polyatomic ions. I'm not going to ask for anything but these polyatomic ions. Okay, so you need to find chlorate on those polyatomic ions. Justice, take your headphones off. All right, so ClO3 has a -1. They do what to each other? They cancel out. Now, you need to know what chlorate breaks down into. Do you remember?
No, it's on the sheet.
It's on the sheet though, okay? So you got to look it up. So when you look up chlorate, you have MClO3 breaks down into MCl plus O2. So what is M? K, and then Cl, and then plus O2. So what goes where K is? +1 and -1. So +1 and -1 do what to each other? They cancel out. Okay? Now, is it balanced?
No.
Nope. So we're gonna have a 3 and a 2, so we're gonna put a 3 and a 2, and then we're gonna put a 2 there. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
We've done the hard part. Now you just got the chart. So we have 25.3 liters of what?
Oxygen.
Okay. So 25.3 liters of oxygen. What goes on the bottom? And what goes on top? Of, what did I ask you for?
Potassium chlorate.
Which one of those is potassium chlorate?
KClO3.
KClO3. So KClO3 has a what on the top? And oxygen has a what?
3.
Multiply and divide, and what did y'all get? 16.86? Y'all didn't actually make up any of those numbers this time, right? Okay. Any questions? So we feel okay about liter-to-liter ratios? All right, since Jaden wants me to check homework so bad, which she's got hers today, and I feel most of you will probably have this one for me, so I got a bunch of hundreds. Pull it out for me.
This one was easy.
You should have this one. This is all
You know I did.
5 little questions with 5 little charts. I should be able to sail through the room and not have to write anything down today.
Mine are exactly charged.
Good, good.
You can exactly. Okay, we're on a roll.
Good. John lost can find this. I can do it here too.
Come on.
Boom.
Come on, come on.
All right. Whoa. Good. Good.
I can't draw those charts.
We might make it. Let's go.
Good. Right. We're on a roll so far.
She going down.
Justice.
No, we did.
It's gonna be disappointing. This bird's gonna pop in. Snag those headphones. I'm gonna laugh. What?
You did it.
You only have 5 little questions with some charts. And I get a no?
Oh.
Tell us right.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You know, I've been burning up her phone lines today. She was burning up mine about subplans today, and then I was,
Hey.
and then I had to burn her back out first period. You got yours?
I have my.
Oh,
You look like that. I heard.
no Stephanie, no Abraham. What?
I did it. It's right there. I did it.
I think this side deserves some, like.
Yo, her face is going to turn red like we did at first.
Yeah.
You don't have yours either.
Look, see this wall, we did good over here.
Miss Wall, were you really surprised about me?
No.
I really thought y'all would have your homework. It was 5 little charts.
You weren't supposed to check it.
What?
You were not going to check that today. Just because Jaden wanted you to check it, that's why.
Well, you should do your homework every day, so get them. Well, maybe you should, and you will follow along in class.
No.
What's your grade here, Xavier?
Two.
72.
That's terrible.
I did mine.
I think this side deserves like candy or cookies.
Right, cookies.
We all on this side did ours.
Are you that's
We
not fair.
are-
Three on
We are a class. We are a team.
Yeah, this ain't even sucking.
It is a team effort.
Y'all are,
He did it now. Come on now.
y'all lost.
There's one over there who did it.
That's 4. Yes,
I
you
thought
will.
we did that before.
She might have had it. She'd have been on the other side of the room. She might have. It.
You got homework tonight? Look, Miss Wall,
What?
I'm going to do my homework. You giving homework tonight?
Yes.
I'm going to do it tonight.
That's why.
I promise. I'm going to really do it.
I would have thought the little short 5 little questions for you to have your homework.
She already balanced the equation.
I know they were written in mine. All you had to do was draw the charts.
I didn't even look at it.
She's gonna
I got, look.
She was mad.
Yeah, it took like 2 minutes. I went to practice.
Right. Serious.
When I come home from practice, I forget I have homework, and I just watch
It
TV.
could have taken you like a minute to do it.
This is like the easiest homework I've given in forever.
So why'd you check it?
Because
Because it was the easiest homework I've given in forever. All right. Moving on. Let's look at the homework. For those of us who did it. All right. Question 1.
I did it, right?
15 liters Question 2, 10 leaders. Question 3, 12 liters. Question 4, you should have left it in milliliters and got 15. But if you changed it and you got liters, it would be 0.015 liters. Okay? Now, number 5 was the only one that had 2 answers. So I guess technically you had 6 questions. But again, I did write and balance all the equations.
Thank you.
So at number 5, the first line asks you for carbon dioxide. So you would have 75 liters of carbon dioxide. And on the second answer, it wanted oxygen. So you would have 37.5 liters of oxygen.
What was the first one?
75 liters of CO2. You want me to do that one?
Yes.
Okay. So you had 75 liters of CO is your given data, right? And then when you look at your equation, you had CO plus O2 goes to 2CO2. So what's going on the bottom of our chart? Okay. And then the first question said how many liters of carbon dioxide? So which of those compounds is carbon dioxide? So we're going to put liters of CO2 on the top, right? So what coefficient is in front of CO? 2. And what's in front of CO2?
2.
So calculate and tell me what you get.
Okay.
Darlene,
I got it.
you didn't have your homework. Now you're playing on your phone in your book bag. Come on now. I'm on a tear today. First period won't sing. Y'all don't have your homework. Now you're playing on your phone.
I can sing.
Let's
You
start
wanna hear
being
me
mad
sing?
because they couldn't go sing.
You want to hear me sing?
I don't know.
No.
Were y'all supposed to go sing?
We were supposed to go to the church, but what made him mad was you said there was a movie and you wouldn't let us watch it at first.
I'll let you watch the movie. The lesson plan said you weren't supposed to watch the movie till after you did all the songs.
They were mad at you.
I don't care.
So they-
Y'all were supposed to
That's why they
sing.
were in there not
You
singing,
were
they were in there
first
protesting.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She was over in the chorus room yelling at them because they wouldn't sing. And then I was like, aren't we supposed to be standing? And then Allie jumped out my throat. She was like, yeah, but nobody made you in charge. I was like, oh, okay.
All right. Anything else?
Probably. I am dead. Allie get a little sassy now. She been around me too long.
All right. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
That's all right. Ms. Rector won't be impressed with y'all when she comes back.
She's gonna kill us when she comes back.
Yeah, because she's not impressed. All right.
I'm gonna stay home.
Everybody caught up?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the new topic. All right.
New topic.
Now, those of you who didn't have that little easy homework assignment, if y'all haven't turned in a late homework, why don't you turn in one late for 75? Okay? You only get one all semester. This would be an easy one to get your 75 for.
We get one late homework.
I
You didn't tell me that. I would have done one late last
told you that last quarter.
I would have done it last quarter.
Last quarter.
Was that here?
All right. I'll try to turn this in.
They jumping down your throat.
They're like this all day.
So how long do we have to do it? How much time do we
The whole semester?
In a reasonable amount of time. I don't want it in 4
No,
weeks.
she wanted it the next day.
So can I bring the one that I didn't do this week?
Yes.
And my papa.
Oh my God, can I change my 10? You're trying to say.
Yes. Remember, you only get one.
Yeah, I ain't worried about that shit. Can we get a?
But see, the one y'all just took the 0 on that was really short, that would be the one I'd turn in for the 75 because it's a really short one and it'll take you like 5 minutes to fix. The one you took the 10 on is a longer one. It's going to take a while to fix that one.
Yeah, we tried, but I just not understand.
All right, we did that one. So we're on this one. All right.
Hey, thank you.
You know.
She's going on.
Is this right? This going on note?
Yes.
What's the title?
Is this a
It's
part
the
of
same as yesterday. It's the same title. It's the same thing we were working on yesterday. Okay? Now, it's still that same thing. Those of you who want a title, there's your title again. Okay? The only difference is the opposite. Nason, why are you back? They what? Why are they not letting you in?
Going through the forest.
They don't want us in there.
They're not like Lansing either.
Yes, but typically happens to be late in the day, not usually
Only
early.
two out of my four.
Blackwell's had issues with it too, but mine has been more like after school when I've sent it, not
They'll
usually,
resend and try again.
not
When two out of the
usually
four
early in
came
the
out, it's
day.
like,
Oh, the cold one.
Okay.
Oh, home one.
Wait a minute, go
All right,
back.
that was just the title that I was showing you. It's the same title we had yesterday, but people were like, what's the title? So it was the same title. Now, yesterday, when we did the question, let me show you something real quick. So yesterday's question, just to illustrate the difference, we were solving for what?
Grab.
And we started with a what?
Leaders.
Okay, so today's question, we're gonna solve for what?
Leaders.
And we're gonna start with a what?
Grab.
So this question is the opposite of what we did yesterday. Okay?
Why?
So because we gotta learn how to do it the other way.
Why?
Because I'll do one of each on the test. You know I'm gonna do one of
Are
each.
you gonna give us some worksheets to?
Yes.
They need to teach us how to do tests.
You know we're gonna practice. That's why it says number 3, practice up there. These are the hardest ones to do.
When is our test, Monday?
The test is Tuesday.
Oh, gosh.
Because we gotta do it on benchmark
Do you
day.
have a quiz tomorrow?
Hey, what if we don't finish this?
Probably not. Huh?
The test is our benchmark.
Yes.
All right.
good. She said it like 20 times.
Right, she told me to explain that to me.
All right.
Thank you.
Xavier,
I'm gonna point that out again, but thank you.
your name Javier.
No.
Your name's American.
Okay.
What was your Spanish name?
No.
Estes.
Estes.
Estes, yeah.
Bro, Miss Long,
Estes.
you can't tell me that them two girls don't look alike.
I'm sure that was Callie Allman in that book.
Bro, that is her. That's her sister or something.
How you doing, Miss Wall?
I'm fine.
That's great.
She was not a PhD.
Now I've been making people mad all day.
You haven't made me mad.
That's good.
What is two?
You my favorite teacher, Miss Wall.
Buxton.
I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know
trying to
why.
figure out what the letter is.
Yes.
What's the most mad you've ever gotten as a student?
It's W, right? Yeah.
Have you ever gotten mad at us? Yes.
Like, have you ever cussed in class?
Tugs, you know.
Yes.
She just stares up at this piece.
She remembers it too. She just looking at that day.
She just
She's
remembered
thinking
that
about
day.
that day.
Only certain teachers.
Hey, you gotta tell us the story.
You one of them, and then it'd be Johnson, he be cussing.
But Johnson
I
be
tried.
Johnson funny when he cussed.
No,
Usually
funny.
slips.
He be saying like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He be
Make
saying-
sure it's
He's
not
afraid, bro. He is funny.
Yeah, but see, I don't consider pissed off a swear word.
My grandma don't either, like she, like aunts.
I know.
What the hell?
Thank God, sorry, I'm not the only one that hears her say
Yeah.
that. She be in there person, she act like she would say it. Oh, she And then you'll look at her and she's like,
So
I
tell us
didn't
about
say
when
it.
you
Her
cussed.
oh,
You
yes,
cussed.
you did.
I dropped a $85 graduated or a flask on the floor by mistake.
Oh.
I used a profanity when I
You dropped the flask?
yeah, volumetric flask. They're very expensive.
How much
You
are
said
it?
what,
You said 85.
I used the S word.
That's not even a cuss word. That's something you do.
The lunch lady ran into me the other day, she said that, she's like, ah.
That's what I said when I dropped the volumetric flask on the floor. I was yesterday.
The little officer, he was trying to figure out how to do something.
All right, we have it written down?
Football season.
Yeah.
I was talking
Yeah.
about
Fun.
their
All
football
right,
season.
so when we look at the question, all right, sometimes I might write the equation for you, okay? And if I do the equation on the test, that should tell you, first of all, that somewhere in the question, you're either going to have to use a volume-volume ratio or a mole-mole ratio. It doesn't matter which one you pick, but you have to do one or the other. And I'll let you choose. I won't dictate which one you have to do. Now, when you look at the question, the easiest way to do it, I'll look at red. The easiest way to do it, like I said yesterday, is PV equals nRT. Some of you will figure out big M, but I'm never going to work it that way in class because there are more steps that way. So the pressure is what?
745.
Okay. What's the temperature?
35 degrees Celsius.
Okay. We all know R is 0.0821. So those are always the things that are the easiest for people to get. It's always the volume and the moles that cause the issues in these kind of questions. So you have grams, and grams has to be changed to moles. Now, the grams are of what? The grams are of what? Tungsten oxide. So which one of these things is tungsten oxide?
W03.
WO3. All right. We want to find the volume of what?
Hydrogen.
Okay. So we need the liters of hydrogen. Now, if you can remember as we work these, that this is what's different about the questions that were on the quiz yesterday. When you did the question like this on the quiz yesterday, if you had grams, the grams was of nitrogen, and you wanted the volume of nitrogen. You didn't have to change compounds. That's what makes this question different. So, start it the same way you did yesterday on the quiz. Grams has to be changed to what?
Moles.
Okay, some of us didn't do that yesterday. So if you look at your quiz paper from yesterday, if I drew a little arrow beside it and wrote the word moles and wrote -5, you forgot to change your grams to moles. Okay? You have to do that. So we need to add up WO3. Tungsten has a mass of
48 plus.
it's 174.
No, it's 180.
183. 183.4 plus, whoops, I already got messed up crap in here.
183.
Plus 48. 231. Okay. 231.4. So 875 divided 231.4. I had 3.78 moles.
Yeah.
Now, that's what most of you are going to do. Okay? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, some of you might go ahead and go moles to moles at that step. If you wanted to, A-okay. I'm not going to do it that way because that's not what the vast majority of you would do. Okay? So pressure and temperature. Are we good to go? Some of you actually left that like that yesterday on the quiz. So, for those people who didn't know what to do with that temperature and that pressure, what do we do with that temperature to get what we need? Okay, so for those of you who didn't know what to do with this yesterday, Torr on the bottom, ATM on the top. 1, what's the number for Torr?
76.
Okay. If you are still struggling with how to do that, please come see me, or today when we're practicing. Even though I might be sitting there working on those test papers, please, please, please ask me for help. I'll be glad to show you how to do that. Okay? I don't mind. That's what they pay me to do, is to answer questions. They really do.
Right.
Okay?
Gloria has a question.
All right. Anybody have a question on how I got the 308?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hmm?
All right. So it's 1 ATM, right? You can have like 0.9.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like round it or anything.
No, I just leave it at 0.98. I don't round it up.
But can
You could, but I just leave it as the
Would
decimal.
it get you a different answer?
Your answer will be slightly different than mine, which is why when I call out the answers, you guys are always like, if I have this, is my answer okay? And I usually say yes.
Because I always run on the 1 because I think that 0.9 is wrong.
No, leave it at 0.9. Okay, so our pressure is 0.98. We don't know V. Moles are 3.78. R is 0.0821. And temperature was 308. Okay, so divide by 0.98. Divide by 0.98. Volume equals. So you got what? All right, let's see if I get that too then. 97.5? Okay, I got the same thing. All right. Now, this is what people typically do on the test. Okay? Now, What have I not used at all?
The little, what's it
Small,
called?
more rate, the volume rate.
I haven't used that balanced equation for anything. Okay? We need to. Okay? I would not have given you a balanced equation and you not need to
So
use
we
it,
use the
right?
volume for-
So, the thing you need to remember is I've got a balanced equation. Somewhere I need to either use that mole ratio or that volume ratio. And I didn't use one. Ms. Wall's going to take half my points. Okay? This is a 10-point question on the test. How many am I taking?
5.
Mhm. You don't understand the concept of I had to change compounds somewhere. I might give you 6 and I'll take 4. Okay? But I'm taking at least 4. So this is what compound. What did you start with right here?
You started with
WO3. You've not changed compounds yet. So this is still WO3. We've not done anything to change the compound. Somebody said we needed hydrogen. We do. So we need to do what? What's the new skill that I want you to practice last night? That's all you got to do. So 97.5 liters of WO3, liters of WO3 to liters of hydrogen. Where did your numbers come from last night? They still do. So WO3 has a what? And hydrogen has a what? And all you have to do is now multiply and you have your answer. You get what? 290 who? 0.5 liters of hydrogen. Okay?
Are we gonna be doing?
I got
That's easy.
Paper.
Yes, we're going to do practice what's on paper. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you do the whole PV NRT thing, it's always gonna be the element that you started with.
Yes.
It's not going to.
No, it'll be the element you started with unless you've already converted first. If you've converted first, then it'll be the new element. It depends on when you do this ratio thing. If you do the ratio at the front end, then it'll be the new element.
How would you do the ratio?
All right, let's go back and do this one, and I'll show you. Okay, because I didn't do it this way yesterday. You've already got it written down, but I'll do it the way I didn't do it yesterday. Okay, I did the mole in this one yesterday, so I'll do it the other way. All right, yesterday when I did this one, I did it with the mole ratio. So let me go back and do it the other way for Samaria. All right, so we've got PV equals nRT. All right, same question. We have 1 ATM. We have 273. Okay, and we know R is 0.0821, right? So they gave us what in this question? They gave us 5 liters of what? And we want to find the grams of who? Which is C3H8. And I would have told you that in the question because I don't ever want you to have to figure that out yourself. Now, because the volume was given first, I'm going to go ahead and do the volume ratio first. Okay? Now, the reason I didn't do the volume ratio first here is what did they give me in the question? They gave me grams, and I found volume, so I did the volume ratio where in this question? Last. Okay? But because they gave me volume, I'm going to do it first. Okay? So I'm going to take my 5 liters of CO2, and I'm going to change liters of CO2 into liters of what on earth did they ask me for? They asked for what? Propane. Okay? Now, was Miss Small kind and gracious and wrote the balanced equation for you?
No.
So we need to do that. Okay? So propane is C3H8. I add it to what compound of its combustion? And what 2 products do I get?
CO2 and water.
All right? So 3 C's, so I put 8, so I put, that makes 6 O's and 4 O's, which is,
5 or 10 O's.
okay, so 5 there. All right, so now I can do my ratio. How many propanes and how many CO2s? So 5 divided by 3 is what? 1 point what? Y'all making up numbers again.
1.6.
Thank you. I was gonna say, I can tell by Tomas's laugh over there. He's making up stuff. All right, so this is now my new volume. So instead of using this one, I'm gonna put 1.6 liters of propane. So now I've already done my mole ratio. I don't have to change at the end. I'm now my new compound. Okay? So now I'm just going to plug into PV equals NR and T. So pressure is 1, volume is 1.6, moles we don't know, R is 0.0821, temperature is 273. N is going to equal
0.07.
whoops, I punched in wrong. 0.0714. Okay. 0.0714. What's N stand for again? Moles. So now what do I have left? What is that moles? It's propane because I have already changed it from CO2 to propane. I got rid of the CO2. So 0.0714 moles of propane. So I just have to go moles to grams of propane. So 1, and then propane's mass is 36,444. Multiply by 44. So times 44 would be 3.1. Like that. Does that make sense on how the difference would work?
Yeah.
Okay. You think y'all could try one and see how far you can get? Celia, what's wrong? You're squinting at me. Ask a question. I don't mind. You're just shy. You won't ask in front of them. So if I come see you, you'll ask me? Are you that shy in chorus? How do you sing in front of people?
You got other people around her.
She got other people around her. Do you do solos in chorus? No? Okay. All right. I want you to try that one. See how far you can get on your own.
What did I do to you? Why are you flipping me off?
Who's flipping you off?
Was you mad or was you mad?
I think it was bad.
No, it's
Stand
fine.
up.
Stand up.
Set it up.
Oh. What did I do to you? Don't call me dumb.
Question.
Oh, it's good. See me after class.
Man, I don't want to see you look good.
Nah, bro, I'm at the box. No, you are kiosk.
You don't gotta take the argument, so he probably wants some Mario.
I got a question. Monoxide is 1, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is carbon
Which one of them
diatomic?
need monoxide?
It's just carbon monoxide.
So which one
Oh,
is it?
CO.
Yes.
Okay.
So what now?
I forgot what the prefix.
Carbon diatomic.
I forgot what the prefixes mean.
Okay. So we're doing the little PP thing? PP whatever thing?
Say what now?
We're doing the P.
Yes.
So problems like these, when we have ones where we have to do the rejection and
We have to do the what?
So if it asks for liters, we do the PV NRT, but if it asks for grams, we do
PV
the.
equals NRT. Use the PV equals NRT regardless.
so we want.
So how do we know
which
which one?
Or the other one.
How do we know what?
How do we know?
You won't use the density formula unless it asks you to do density.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Use the PV equals NRT with both of these. The only difference is whether or not you're doing, the only difference is whether you're doing the volume ratio first or the volume ratio last. So did they give you a volume to start with? So you can't do the volume ratio first here. You have to do the volume ratio last.
Convert that to moles.
Okay, we're now on.
What? You shut up. Think out loud.
Feel like I'm in middle school.
That's all you would consider experts, right?
In the loosest sense of the word. Why?
I like having friends.
That's good.
Xavier, who else did you ask that question?
You
You
want
asked
someone?
another teacher.
I ask that to a lot of teachers.
I know. But I don't know that.
Carbon monoxide, the CO thing, right?
Mhm. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
I hate when I erase a mistake and I make the same mistake again.
Oh.
Oh, God.
You shut up.
Thank you, Xavier.
Thank you, Xavier, for letting me do that. I will use that.
Please.
Xavier, the legend.
I know.
Do we just assume that the volume is in liters? What?
Assume
Yeah.
what volume is in liters? What you talking about?
That's a lot of liters.
Huh?
I had a big number,
What did you do?
544.
Okay.
So that's not a ton of liters. I mean, I thought you were talking about like 1,000,000 or something. 544 is reasonable.
Don't be scared of big numbers.
Yeah, because I said, I'm that a big number that changed and I got it wrong.
These are the most recent openings, Xavier?
Huh?
I said these are the most recent openings.
Yes.
You could have made a quiz on this, like you have to too.
On the
Very
bottom.
good.
I had 20
Like,
at first, and
Xavier.
Oh.
then I erased it. I never trusted
It's like trusting trading with your life. You gotta trust it.
I don't know.
All right, we got it?
No.
Oh.
Marshmallow.
That was retarded. There was no point in doing it. Right.
Is it? Never mind. Let's see.
Thank you.
Oh, we had adjustments today. Right.
I don't want to write it either.
All right, how about now?
No.
It's the same.
Running out of things to do. I've done homework, I've done Xavier, I've got Jade's papers.
I'm trying, okay?
I don't mean to rush you.
Yeah, I'm done.
Sorry.
I'm done.
Did you get the same thing Tomas did?
What did he get?
You got 544.
Yeah.
Ah, 541.
That's okay if you're off just that little bit.
Oh, I'm I got my kid.
Yeah, fuck yours.
Could be in rounding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why I told you to show your work, because I need to see the work if you're off from 536 all the way to 544.
How'd you get?
My guess is it's in the rounding of moles,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and how many decimal places y'all use.
yeah, I use 100%.
That's my total.
Okay, so I have a question.
Don't talk for volume.
So the volume here, it
Well,
would
this is
be
my.
carbon.
This is my
Right.
Yep.
pressure.
No, you're finding the volume of carbon monoxide.
I
You
know
found
what I'm
the
saying,
volume of carbon to start with,
but-
yes.
Yeah, that's what
So you're gonna change it from carbon to carbon monoxide, yes.
So for
Did I do something? No.
I went from,
And the mole mass is 28.
it is what, for what? For carbon? No, it's 12.
Yeah. If you jump around, you get 5.3.
Oh, yeah, that's-
Don't look at me like that.
And then, at the end, you go from carbon to carbon monoxide. What's the volume?
What is vocab testing? Know these words
Oh, I'm proud of you.
and know how to spell them. Them sentences,
Is that good or bad?
Them sentences are always.
All right, we put it on the board and see how we did?
Yes.
All right, see if we can make sure everybody from the 536 to the 544 range is good?
Oh, no, I don't know what the heck I got there.
Okay, so let's see if we can find the mistake. So temperature is what? 27, so that's 300?
Yeah.
R, we all know is 0.0821, and pressure was 188. What's that converted?
it's 0.247.
0.247. All right, so we have 65.5 grams of carbon. Changing that, dividing by 12 grams of carbon will give us how many moles? Now, I point.
5.45.
I did 5. I got 5.
Now, my best guess is, depending on how you rounded here, will determine what number you have at the end. I tend to take it out 3 places. You don't necessarily have to take it out 3 places. If you rounded it to point
5.54.
54,
That's what I got.
0.554.
No, 5.5. 5.5.
Yeah,
5.6.
Oh,
You get
oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah,
now?
it's fine.
It is 0.6.
I was thinking about the
Okay.
other.
No.
Now, I don't worry about rounding up. If you round it up, fabulous. I just generally don't. I just chop the number off.
Okay.
Now, from there, PV equals nRT. Pressure is 0.247. Volume we don't know. 5.45. 0.0821. Temperature is 300. Did we balance the equation? Because I didn't. I'll come back and do that in a minute.
212.
Yeah, I'll do that in a minute because I didn't. Times 0.0821 times 300 divided by 0.247. I got 544. 44 liters of C because that's grams of C, right? So that's liters of C. Now, before I do my volume ratio, I've got how many O's? 2. So I'm going to put a 2 there and a 2 there. Now, if you were listening, I think it was Tomas originally, who said, I got 544 liters. He was like, that number's too big. I must have the wrong answer. Stop worrying about that. I make these numbers up. So on the test, I can't guarantee you that you don't have a big number. So don't freak out because you get a big number. Okay? That's the first thing I'd say. Secondly, the answer is right. The number is. This answer is still going to cost you 4 or 5 points on the test. Okay? The work's not right yet, even though the number's right. What have we not done yet? You haven't converted from carbon to CO. Okay? So you got to show me that piece. So that's right. But just having the right number won't get you your points, is my point in this discussion. So you got to show me liters of C being changed to liters of CO. You got to show me this step. Even though the mole ratio is the same, without the piece I just put in orange to give me 544 liters of CO, you don't get all your points. Even though this answer and this answer are the same, without the step in orange, you can't get full credit. That's nice. All right, questions?
No, ma'am.
Yes, Darlene.
So whenever it asks ask you for like a grams of a certain element, that's the element you're gonna use for the volume chart?
Yes. Yes. All right, so I want to do some practice on this before we mix everything up. Okay? So I want to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. All right, I'm going to make Sophie my able-bodied assistant. All right, so everybody should get a sheet from Sophie. This is all stoichiometry, except I think I put 2 old questions in to see if you can recognize when it's not stoichiometry. Okay? So there's 6 questions, only 4 are stoichiometry of the 6. Okay? Everybody understand that?
Yeah, got you.
So 4 stoichiometry, 2 are not. They should be obvious to you that they're not stoichiometry questions. Yes. You do not need a hug.
I do need a hug.
For what reason?
I need a hug.
Why?
I'm doing bad in class. I just need here.
An old fat white woman. What you need a hug from me for?
Because it's gonna be warmer. It's gonna be a warmer hug.
You gotta stand up. I got bulging discs. I can't do that.
Bruh, they trying to say Miss Wall was a black man
What?
in this picture on the door. I'm gonna show you before we leave.
Look, I can't fix stupid.
They try.
That's what our coach says.
Just look. My father said right there.
All right. Now, there's not a ton of space on the paper. So if you know that it's not enough space for you, don't try to squeeze it in on the paper. Do it on the back or do it on your own paper. Some of you can fit it in that space. But if you know that you can't, do it on your own paper. Okay? Just starting to.
I'm gonna get pink.
I said, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get them all. You added one stack of stuff to deal with right there. See? Terrible. Could have had that done last night, not home.
Me too.
What? What are you, in like all honors classes? And you leave your book bag in your car?
Me too.
Okay. Do you plan to go to college? Okay. Do you plan to pay for it yourself? Okay. I'm glad, because if you have to, get student loans or anything, I hate to think you're gonna be paying back that money over time, because you're gonna flunk out unless you seriously improve your study skills. Because last I checked, you could not get through college leaving your book bag in the car. You're gonna have to get it out. You better do some work.
You're not gonna leave it in your bowl.
This is mine.
That is mine.
Oh, everything this is mine.
No.
No,
Really?
oh, everything
Oh,
Look at it. Look, they got a little broken ice. All right.
School. Change the slide out front.
She just ripped that.
What?
I lost two of them today.
So you think someone just walked over there and swiped yours? What? No, I don't want
Oh, boy, y'all. Don't you just love this class?
It's like working on kindergarten.
Your third period ain't like this?
They
They're
worse.
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 Oh.
They got, yes.
This is the
I
best
know.
They got-
Oh, yeah, you got
Jackie.
Zoe definite.
Jackie.
That's it. That's all you need to know. That's
Right.
it.
Zoe
No,
a
Zoe's
character.
pretty well paid.
Huh?
Zoe's well paid.
Oh, you got Brooke in here.
Have you never seen
Yeah.
Zoe before? When has she ever been behaved?
Zoe's a character.
Right, a
She's
whole
hilarious.
character.
When
She's over here in disbelief. I am, that is blowing me.
I'm sorry.
No, 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 it's surprising.
Wow.
Should we come in here? I feel like.
So if it has one compound, like,
Yeah.
what does that tell us? Use the PV, whatever.
So. Which one?
I don't even know if that.
What's the
You like
one?
interest, right?
Okay, well, they all, if that's
Okay.
CA.
So that means when you write your, volume by ratio, it'll be 1-to-1. So it'll be like that one, whatever answer you get for volume, the other one's gonna be the same.
Okay, so I do the PV.
It was at RT.
So what if it has one compound, because this one has two and then this one has one? Oh, wait, no, it doesn't, it has potassium.
Yep. They're both gonna work like this. All right, who else has a question?
You really be making up these answers here.
Huh?
You really making up.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I can tell, because these answers are ridiculous. They're ridiculous. The first one is the, you got the answers up there.
Yeah,
Okay, I just need to know.
the first one's reasonable.
Are you sure?
Yeah. All of these are reasonable. Well, number 6 is a little big, like 66, but the first one's like 11, 11.9. That's reasonable.
I didn't get that.
Oh, what'd you get? Whoa, that's a little large. All right, let's see where you went wrong. Oh, no. You gotta convert. You don't just make the mass 100. You gotta take the
Yeah,
100 and
I figured it
actually
out.
find the moles.
I figured it out.
Oh.
I figured it out.
What do you mean we just take,
She just took the 100. She didn't change it to moles.
oh.
What's CA?
40.
Yeah, mama.
Sit down.
You're talking about.
She's not actually talking about your mama. Your mama's at home or at work doing what she's supposed to be doing. She's not actually talking about your mama.
Yes, you would.
It was a joke.
Nah. I don't take jokes too
You
much.
saw me, you like the nature. Y'all sensitive.
So nigga.
I love this class.
I cannot balance this equation for anything.
It's not.
Not if it's not right, it's not.
Yeah, I probably ain't got it right. I don't know what's
What was that actually top five?
I think I actually, is it CAO and then CO? Remember the end of the O right there?
Yep. Because it says, you look at your other, it also says decomposing. So there should be.
Damn.
Yes.
You said nigger.
How does that work?
So you say.
Did I say?
If you can use very.
You're not saying that either.
Ooh.
It's not good, it's not good.
Don't say that.
I mean, that's what it is.
Can we find a new word today?
Don't say that.
That's a good one.
Who was your first?
Becca said that word.
Man, yeah, Miss Pendergrass said it all the time.
Say what?
Nigga. She said it all the time.
Oh, goodness.
You started it.
I said nigga, not with It's different. They are two completely different words.
I'm not just gonna use either one. Because my thoughts are, if I can't use them, you can't use them either.
Well, you can't use it because.
You're a teacher. Oh,
Yeah.
So y'all can't use them either.
I'm not right.
I know.
Okay then.
So you can't use them either.
I can use them.
No.
But I think all people of color are considered niggas. So
She's a minority. Yeah, you're the minority right now.
All right, you're the minority in this question.
I'm the minority in all three classes.
Yeah, because
In the school, you're the minority.
Yo, that's crazy.
Hey,
Two white people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm the only
Tiffany, the
one.
only white person in the Spanish class. She got all the white person.
Oh.
Okay, Tiffany, I've had that
Beans was
experience in
a-
there.
Oh, yeah, I got it right.
I wouldn't like it.
Why so hard?
Oh,
Singing the mic.
Oh.
Okay, my bad. Boyfriend. I'm just kidding. Uh-huh.
No.
oh no.
Okay,
What's the answer to number one?
so far so good.
What's the answer to number
So
one?
you're gonna find the.
How do you balance this?
Which one?
What the fuck?
It's balance.
Oh, I'm close. I best balanced it wrong.
The whole thing is balance.
Oh, it's already balanced. Oh, okay. So see, I was trying to figure out how to balance it. Wait.
Y'all need to do that direction. Yep.
Unless y'all wrote it wrong.
No, I got it right. Thank you. Damn, I feel sick. Damn, good.
Somebody call me?
No.
This is time consuming.
Didn't say what?
So, geez. Grants of capacity. Standard temperature pressure.
What's that one?
Meters
Volume?
of H2.
If you don't mind.
1 neighbor, 2 miles. Mercy, you work tomorrow?
You see the one?
I work today, tomorrow, and Saturday.
My goodness.
What's today?
Workaholic.
Thursday.
Man, you work tomorrow? No, I work Saturday and Sunday.
what time you going Saturday?
I'm for counters. I run at 4.
What?
I'm for counter Saturday and Sunday, and I don't want to be because I don't want to clean the lobby.
What?
I'm working harder today and tomorrow.
Open it.
I just hate like cleaning the lobby and people.
But I can't come in like before 2 because I got Saturdays.
I changed my whole
Kinda
routine
run
after
everything.
fall.
I was working like
Oh my
11
god.
hours a day. And then I put it down to like
Never think of something.
7.
Yeah, like it started crying.
I work 7 hours.
Who has a question?
I just like it.
Okay.
Yeah?
So Maria, I don't have questions.
The Mario stage.
I was getting like over 20 hours a week, just 22 days.
2. That Paige, she goes to West.
They all go to West.
I know they all go to West. I was like, dang, and they all black. And I was like, I didn't know that many black people went to West.
We must all work together.
But they're all professional, I bet. Because I know Elijah.
Jasmine said that Paige.
Marissa, what's the answer to number 2?
206, what you said?
Julia knew her. She was in Julia's kindergarten class. When she got
Like,
there.
oh,
Who paid?
I know, yeah, Paige. I had
Did they all get the job?
No, they just gave them the interview. We was watching Tabitha give her the interview.
Y'all were interviewing people already?
Yeah, we're still hiring.
Oh,
We gotta hire like 7 or 8 people. That's what.
I'm going to work
Tabitha
at
said.
y'all.
7 or 8.
Years of CA,
I was like,
But yeah, she was. Is this the right formula? It was bad.
yeah.
Miss complaining about it.
I hate this. That's gonna be the part that's gonna mess me up.
Do you not know how
I hate everything else.
There's nothing wrong with it.
You go to the-
No, but Brandy's over there.
Oh.
I
thought it said. I didn't know.
All right, who else has a question? Hey, how you doing?
I got the first one right. I think I missed a step on this one.
If you get stuck on number 2, it's probably the equation. Bring it here. Here. See how it says potassium and water? I mean, you got any questions? All right, you probably combine the potassium and water together here. That's just potassium. So that's the problem is just
She
calcium.
said it was okay.
Okay, and we calculate this is just gonna be K, and you finish it.
I felt bad.
Yeah. Go back and all of this that you did. Okay. Yeah, what's your reaction?
So is the new boy Elijah? Is he supposed to be a cook?
He's up front.
Replacement. So you can figure out
Right.
what's over here.
Jonathan was like, why is he up front?
Alright, all boys are coaches.
Ricky? Ricky a manager.
Ricky.
Just because he gay.
That's exactly why I put him as a cook, because
Because
he's
this
gay.
says
But he's a manager, so he has to.
I know he knows Alex, but I just don't picture him like. I can't see him.
Rams.
I think his name was Jacob.
That's how you know.
Which one? Oh.
Yeah, that's Elijah.
All right, who else has a question?
He's cute.
So in number 2, when you're converting from grams to mole, you would just use potassium.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Xavier. Oh my God, Angela was saying that. They ugly.
What song y'all wanna hear?
Nothing from you.
Ringing rainbow.
I don't know the whole thing.
Sing it what you know.
Take a look inside the book. It's reading.
Xavier.
It's in the.
I don't know if I want to do
Take
it.
Take a look. I thought it was it's in the book. What did he say?
Inside the book.
I just don't have that.
I'm not doing anything.
Miss Wall, I'm on a roll right here.
Right, did eat.
What else kid songs you know? Dragon Tales. Dragon Tales. Forever still.
I forgot the.
You
I
okay,
forgot
Mars?
the album.
Yeah, me. I'm ready.
Nah, y'all can't even get into the club. So it won't matter. Because they're like, Miss Wall, you come into the club.
Did you ever go to the club?
Yeah.
None of your business.
Yeah, but it's a matter of.
Shalea told us her club experience. Boy, that is so funny. That's gonna be serious though. So funny boy.
I'm
And
ready.
you know how Shalay is. So she was over there drawing her story on the board, right? And acting it out in front of us and telling her story. And I was like, Shalay, you're scared. She is annoying.
So mommy.
You said she's annoying?
She is fun. She reminds me of like a little gopher. I love Shalay.
A gopher.
Yeah. Or like a little brown frog. A little chipmunk. I don't know, something.
She just got long legs.
She's
Until
She's dead.
What do you remember her Take a look. Stand up.
Atomic math.
Oh, okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, I got it.
39.
I'm running that.
Yeah.
What is the molar mass? M equals.
So what is it?
M.
I really have to.
What's the mass of the test?
M equals M.
Oh, we literally only
I
have
think you do.
M equals M.
23 minutes left.
Probably a little less.
Give me, I mean, that's
Bigger
not
wings.
weird.
It was 1.8. No,
22 minutes.
Yeah.
But I would rather take the tension over having my bathroom bath taken away.
Yeah, bathroom has gone before you continue.
See, Miss Hudson says that if you have passes and you don't want to use them, you can take the tension for 15 minutes.
I'm not that kind.
If you don't give us at least, I mean, if you don't give us more than 3, then you should have an alternative.
Actually, you are because you let me see. You let me see.
Okay.
No, I mean, I was saying like she did do it at the time.
Yeah, that is nice.
See, I got you.
Oh, wait.
Kind of childhood.
Yeah, people
I mean, I don't have a shot
I
on.
believe
Just
that.
because I've never seen high school.
I'm feeling weird.
Says,
I got you.
No, I don't want to know from you.
What else would count as a child? What is your life?
Oh.
I don't know.
I wasn't even four.
What? Oh.
You're very cultured.
That's something.
Family.
Yeah.
Okay, R, it has bleeders in it, right?
Oh, that's right, because you guys, yeah, that's funny.
We live like across from each other, but.
So if it's, oh my god, on a molar mass, we gotta use the molar thing. I know, messed up. There's no way I'll both figure that out.
And then you show me that, my dad probably got this stuff on.
Yeah, that's right. How old were y'all?
I was like 6 or 7.
Oh.
My mom did.
I'm really stressing over this. I do not.
I'm not doing the same.
I need I sure do.
My son doesn't, I got a 3.
I got a 1.
Oh,
it's
it's
4.
6 though.
I got a 69.
Very good.
She done it on the other scale.
Oh, it's 2.06.
But whatever, I ain't even gonna trip over it. The molar?
I did it in my head.
Hey, can somebody tell me the answer to number 3?
It's an answer.
Yes.
Does that change that?
What is that?
But it was the right.
Oh, shit.
I still think she was just right.
I'm gonna show me the video. I'm gonna show me the video.
Oh, we have to take these off.
Oh,
I'm getting put on. You remember that crazy girl? Alexis Miller? Karen was the girl?
Yeah, she back.
I know.
I saw it.
He said to be continued. He just put me on.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. What happened to his other girlfriend?
So hi.
oh, cool.
No, niggas ain't going, man.
Right.
This stuff is good. You know,
So after
but this
this,
stuff is good.
What happened?
molar mass point.
Oh.
And then you got some.
I'm coming.
You already wrote that formula down?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, darling, that's right. Because it's depending on how you round
It's
your
gonna be
light.
No, I haven't, well, yes, if you don't finish it, but I have something else to.
Okay.
Oh,
This one is like
She was crazy. She, like, if he didn't text her back, she'll ask everyone where she is. Oh, like, she was crazy. And she wondered why she wasn't getting cheated on. Oh.
Oh.
Why you had to say?
Everybody was like.